I found 9 ETFs that beat the VOO. You've probably heard this before. Just buy VOO and hold. And honestly, that works. But here's what nobody is really asking. What if good isn't actually the best that you can do? Because while most people were sitting at VOO earning around 14 to 15% a year, there were other ETFs quietly compounding at over 20%, even 30%. Not crypto, no stock picking. Simple ETF, basket of stocks. And when I first saw this, I did not believe it when I compiled all the data and put it all together. Because if this is true, then most people are leaving serious money on the table. So in this video, I'm not just listing ETFs, I'm showing you something deeper. Why some funds outperform and why most of the people never even notice. And the last one is where things really change. But first, let's get real about how most people invest. They pick one ETF or maybe two and they invest on it consistently. And then they stop thinking because, it's just a safer route. It's working, you're getting your returns. But here's what people really underestimate. Small differences in returns become massive over time. So let me show you. Hear this out. $500 a month for 10 years if you're investing at 7% returns, you are at around $80,000 to $90,000. At 15%, you're closer to $130,000. At 20%, you're crossing the $200,000 threshold mark. Same money, same effort, but completely different outcome. So this begs the question, what actually caused that gap? Because it's not luck, it's the structure. Let's just get a quick reality check. Because it's important to know that past performance does not guarantee future results. This is about understanding behavior, not just chasing numbers. So let's start with the baseline, VOO, because this tracks the S&P 500 of the largest companies in the US. Historically, VOO has returned roughly around 14 to 15% over the last 10 years, and around 11 to 12% over the last 15 years, and about 13 to 14% over the last 5 years. That's strong, but remember, it's built to match the market, not beat it. And that's where things shift, because I started asking, what if some ETFs are designed differently? And that's when things got interesting. Let's go one by one. Starting with VXUS. This is everything outside the US, and the returns reflect that. About 4 to 6% over the last 10 years, around 5 to 7% over the last 15 years, but recently it's giving closer to about 8 to 10% over the last 5 years. It's not about the high returns, it's about the diversification, right? Because you can't just keep all your eggs in one basket. Next ETF is VT. That's the entire global market. This has delivered around 10 to 12% over the last 10 years, around 8 to 10% over the last 15 years, and about 9 to 11% over the next 5 years. It's the simplest strategy. It's out there and it is possible for everyone to invest. Now your favorite, SCHD. It's one of my favorite as well. This one surprises people because it combines income and growth. It gives about 11 to 13% over the last 10 years, around 12% over the last 15 years, and about 10 to 12% over the last 5 years with very low volatility, which matters more than people think. Next is VTI, the total US market, very similar to VOO. This gave a return of around 13 to 14% over the last 10 years, around 11 to 12% over the last 15 years, and about 12 to 13% over the last 5 years. Now we move to the outperformers that you have been waiting for, which is SPMO. This is basically a momentum strategy ETF. It gave about 17 to 19% over the last 10 years. Shorter history, but strong recent performance, around 18 to 22% over the last 5 years. But remember, more volatility, which means bigger upside and also bigger downside at the same time. Now we get into QQQ. This is where things accelerate, because this one gave around 19 to 21% over the last 10 years, around 17 to 18% over the last 15 years, and about 17 to 19% over the last 5 years, which means higher returns and also higher drawdowns. Next one is VGT, which is even more focused, which gives around 22 to 24% over the last 10 years, around 20% over the last 15 years, and about 20 to 22% over the last 5 years. And now, this one that stands out, which is the ticker SMH, which is semiconductors. This is where the numbers get crazy. Around 30 to 34% over the last 10 years, around 25 to 28% over the last 5 years. I mean, over here, the long-term history definitely does vary, but still among the highest. And this is the key moment, because now you see it clearly that different ETMs have different outcomes, and the difference is just massive. But here is a mistake that most people make. They see the highest return and they go all in. That's not the move, because every high return ETF comes with a higher risk. So the real takeaway is this: VOO gives stability, Triple Q gives growth, SCHD gives income, SMH gives aggressive upside, and your job is to combine them correctly, because the best portfolio is not the one with the highest return, is the one you can actually hold. Here is where most people get stuck. They understand all of this that I just spoke about, but they don't know what to actually do, what to buy, and how much to allocate. That's exactly what I'm building on at Finance with Bera, where I share my portfolio, my allocations, and how I think. So instead of guessing, you can just actually see how it works. Because at the end of the day, it's not about finding the right ETF. It's about building the system, and most people never even get that far.